Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to a brand new video here today and some more F1 2020 My Team Career Mode content. Today we are here for the Singapore Grand Prix, the longest race on the calendar in terms of actual duration. So it's going to be a very long race here today. If you guys missed the last episode at Monza, race that was completely in the wet, then go check it out guys. I'll leave a link up in the top right hand corner of your screen. And real quick guys, once again I've been saying in every video, but I'm very close now to 50k subs guys. So if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, hit that red subscribe button guys, it massively helps me out. And without further ado, let's get this episode underway. Here we are then for another race weekend, and as you can see on screen, unfortunately I don't have a screenshot of the weather forecast. I was never given the forecast on the laptop. I only found out via the in-game monitor, and I wasn't recording at the time, so I can tell you there is some rain expected in the race and also qualifying, so we've got a bit of a mixture in both sessions. So anyway, that aside, this weekend you can see on screen we've got upgrades on the car. We've got two big major upgrades, and it's meant that we are now the second quickest team in F1. We've jumped everybody and we are behind Mercedes now, which is incredible. So we're making progress. If you look at the graph at the start of the season in Australia and where we are now, we've made some big strides, and we are now the second quickest team on the grid, which is absolutely insanity guys, and I'm really happy to see that, and I'm hoping to try and keep that momentum going moving forward. But with that said guys, we're now going to move into practice here this weekend, and this was practice 2, and we're going to get some running on the medium tyres. And I got to say, this track feels great. You know, we won the race here last year, and I'm expecting a similar result this year. I want to be fighting for the win at least, and you know, the car was working well. We got some good R&D points as well between myself and Mick Schumacher, and we gained a small bit of acclaim here and there. And as a team, we're just about to hit level 18, which we do right now. So there we go, and we're now on our way to level 19, which is awesome. With that said, we now move into qualifying. So I'm pretty quick in the dry, or should I say I'm very quick in the dry, and we're really competitive, but there is rain in the air. So in Q1 we tried to get out nice and early and try and get a run in on the dry tyres before the rain would start to arrive. And you can see here, this was my first run in the session, and it was actually the only one that I needed, because again the pace in the dry conditions was really good. So we was able to get the job done. I was quite aggressive on this lap. Normally I go a bit slow, or I take it a bit cautiously, but like I said, I don't know if I was going to get another run, so I didn't play it safe, and I just pushed and I went all out on my first lap, and we go P1 ahead of Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, and we take top spot in Q1, and that lap was enough to get us through into Q2. You can see eventually, actually, surprisingly, others improved a lot. Mick Schumacher P6, and to be fair, there was a bit of a timing glitch on this one because I simulated ahead on the session whilst everyone was doing their laps, and they seem to improve quite drastically, let's say, because the lap times on Mercedes weren't quite right, let's just say that. So yeah, a bit of a quality sim glitch. You guys who have been around on my channel for a while will know what that's about. If not, you don't know, I'll explain it in a separate video at some point, because it's quite long and boring. But basically, if you skip time or simulate, the AI has set glitch lap time, so you've got to try to just do the session manually and go through the entire 15, 20, 18 minutes, whatever the session is. So anyway, that aside, a ramble aside, there's the final Q1 results. We're now going to move into qualifying 2, and this session now the rain had arrived, and it was intermediate conditions, and I was trying to find the right time to go out to get the conditions at the right point, and I think we got it about right. And even in the wet, the car felt brilliant. We were so competitive. And in Q2, you'll see here, this was actually my one and only lap in Q2, because again, we're going to cross the line and go P1 ahead of both Ferraris and go quickest comfortably. 1 minute 50.7 is a really good lap, and you'll see now at the end of the session, actually only Lewis Hamilton was able to beat us, and only narrowly. This time there was no time simulation glitch, and of course this time we finished second, and Mick Schumacher got knocked out in P14, which was a shame. So a much more realistic session in that sense. Daniel Ricciardo up in 3rd place in the Renault. They're going really strong again this weekend, and we're now moving into Q3. And in Q3, this was actually my best lap out of the 2 that I tried, and yeah, the session's got 2 minutes to go. This is when the conditions were at their best, and yeah, we're going to go for a full lap of Singapore in the wet conditions. So guys, enjoy. It's about 2 minutes long. Hopefully it's a good lap, and fingers crossed we can try and put it on pole. And here we go through the final corner, and I was hoping to go for a second lap, but I ran out of time. I miscalculated it and I got it wrong, but luckily for us, we're P1 and we secure pole position for the Singapore Grand Prix. And like I said, I missed it out by a second. I would have loved to have got one more lap in there to be safe, but in the end we didn't even need it because we got pole by 8/10 of a second over Lewis Hamilton, who actually done his lap on the wet compound tyres, and we was 9/10 clear of Ricciardo in third on the inters. So we absolutely dominated, and worth noting Bottas got knocked down Q2 as well. So only one Mercedes in the final shootout. And it was comfortable, really, really comfortable. A 149.3, that was 1.4 quicker than the lap we did in Q2, and insane. Like, it was really, really good. I was happy with it. The car was brilliant, and we secure a comfortable pole position. But that's only half the work done. We've now got the race to tackle, and again, there is rain expected at the start of the race. So let's see how that goes, and hopefully we can try and secure the bag. Either way, that's it for qualifying. We're now going to move into the race for the Singapore Grand Prix.
Against the spectacular backdrop of the Singapore skyline, Formula One returns once again to do battle in what tends to become something of an endurance race, with the notorious sauna-like temperatures in the cockpit making for an extremely physically challenging Grand Prix. We have a high risk of a safety car here today, as the abundance of tight corners mixed with these wet conditions could put a few cars off into the barriers. 23 turns then, 13 to the left and 10 to the right, make up the 3.1-mile lap of Marina Bay. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about Martinez. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Martinez lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Leclerc, Sebastian Vettel, and Norris, Verstappen, Sainz, Ocon, and Daniel Kvyat, Perez, Bottas, Alexander Albon, and Schumacher, Stroll, Gasly, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Kimi Raikkonen, Magnussen, Grosjean, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. And now it's time to head down to the track.
It's race time, guys, here at Singapore, and you can see it's currently raining, but we are on the medium compound tyres, which is really interesting, as there's not going to be a lot of grip on these, especially with the rain right now. This has been chosen by default by the game. We can't put the intermediates on, so we're going to have to just start on the mediums and hope for the best. You want to try and avoid the softs because they don't last very long around here. And I feel like if you start on the softs, you're going to then pit and you're going to fall into traffic and you're going to lose a lot of time overtaking cars around here. So the better option is to start the mediums and then move onto the hard compound tyres. A very simple one-stop strategy. The rain is expected to last for a little while yet, so we could be having these kind of mixed conditions for a while. Whether there'll be DRS or not, that remains to be seen as well. In terms of fuel, I've actually underfueled the car by a lap. Not a lot more because I feel like the car isn't super fuel efficient. It isn't great, so I don't want to go too light just in case. And generally speaking, all we've got to try and do first of all is get a good start. If we get a good start, we should be okay. But without further ado, guys, let's jump into it and let's see if we can try and win this race for 2 years in a row. Right, here we go. Let's see what kind of start we get in these mixed conditions. This is going to be very interesting. Lights out and away we go. Pretty safe so far, but we get away well. Down to turn one, we've got Lewis trying it around the outside. I'm going to give him a squeeze. don't have any idea where the grip levels are. This is where a formation lap would help. Lewis and Leclerc are battling for P2, so we've got a nice gap already as we make our way to the back straight. Track feels okay, just got to be a little bit cautious. Maybe I'm being a little bit too safe. This is where the AI are pretty good because they've got, of course, inbuilt traction control, you know, in terms of the way they're coded, so they're going to be quite strong on acceleration, whereas I'm going to struggle a bit. But for now, the main thing was to hold on to our lead off the start, which we have done, because now we can control the race a bit. And now we're going to see. Yep. This should help us save some fuel. I know that, Jeff. Let me see when the rain's going to stop to get an idea. I mean, that's not what I wanted as information, so we're going to have to just stay out. But it's definitely raining heavier than I thought. You know, I expected a bit of a slight drizzle, but this is a bit more than just a slight drizzle. I'm just trying to make sure, obviously, we don't hurt our tyres too much. And so far, we're hanging in there. I've got plenty of ERS, of course. We can use that to defend, so I'm not too worried about the cars behind. I'm more worried about making a mistake and letting everyone through, which is going to be catastrophic. If so, we've got Sebastian Vettel on soft tyres as well, worth noting, so he might make a few moves. But for now, lap 1 draws to a close, and we're still leading this race. We're just starting to find our rhythm now, our consistency and our pace. We've got a 1 second gap to Hamilton, which is good, as DRS will now be enabled on lap 3 of the race.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
The pace isn't super quick. I'm only about a second and a half quicker than the lap I did in Q3 on the Inters, so the track is still very, you know, not optimized, let's say, in terms of grip, so we're taking it very easy. But the pace is starting to show. The track is gradually drying, and I'm building up more confidence, and that suits me more, so let's hope it continues to dry up. Pace is just going to be improving every single lap as we're going to set another fastest lap here into the 147s. Gap to Lewis now 2.1/2 seconds. We're pulling away here.
You're doing well out there. Keep it up. We're looking at about 10 more minutes of rain. 10 minutes.
Okay, there we go. That's what we wanted to hear before. Hopefully it's all gone by the time we go into the hard compound tyres, because otherwise the grip is going to be really, really difficult to find on those hard tyres in these conditions. I can't believe we're only about to start lap 6. I feel like I've been driving for so long. This race is going to take forever in these conditions. It's literally, we're just driving at 2014 F1 car pace. Gap to Lewis, 4 seconds. We're looking pretty good in that sense, and we're slowly saving some fuel now, where we started under-fueled. It's slowly coming back, which is good news. You can see the mini-map, there's quite a bit of a field spread starting to happen. Sebastian Vettel, I believe, has an issue because he's losing 3 seconds a lap to me, so either he's got wing damage or something, because he's losing a chunk of time and he's pushing everyone behind him further back. So it's becoming pretty much a 4-way scrap between Ricciardo, Leclerc, myself and Hamilton. Ooh, getting a bit loose. Gotta be careful, the gap has really shot up 6 seconds now to Lewis Hamilton. We're still pulling away.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Ooh.
Copy that.
Lap 14 to go a lap longer on these. I don't mind that, and that should be fine to do. Mick Schumacher in the pit lane. That's very interesting. I wonder if he started on soft tyres because Sebastian Vettel stopped as well. So if that's the case, I don't know what strategy they've put my teammate on, but it wasn't the right one, that's for sure. The grip just feels like it's gotten worse. I don't know if it's tyre wear kicking in, but there's a lot more understeer all of a sudden. My tyres feel okay. There is a bit of wear, but I mean, it's not that bad. We're still pulling away from Lewis, but that lap was 1.5 off my personal best. I think the rain might just be picking up a little bit more again, maybe. And now suddenly the track has improved on the very next lap because Lewis is keeping up with me, but we're nearly a second up on this lap. So the track has suddenly just evolved again. It went from a bit extra rain to now the complete other way. It's now starting to dry up quite quickly, and we're going to improve by a second and a half. Well, actually more than that, 1.7. New fastest lap. Right there, now we're talking. Track's going to start to dry up to proper race pace now. We've got a nice gap though, 7 seconds to Lewis Hamilton. Okay, there we go, the rain has now pretty much stopped. The track has really improved. 2.6 up on this lap, and I've lost my fastest lap to other cars around us, so now the track is starting to ramp up and get really quick, but we're still keeping our lead over Lewis. Here we go, another fastest lap coming up right now. 141.8. Now the pace is starting to really pick up, and hopefully this race will speed up a little bit because we're only a third of the way through and it feels like I've already done a 50% race. This has literally been so long, this one so far. Yeah, another fastest lap. Everyone's rapidly improving now. The track is getting faster, a couple of seconds a lap here. into the 138s.
Window, you'll be on the hards.
Yep. We'll get ready for those hard tyres. Though to be fair, with the track improving, I don't feel like I need fresh rubber straight away. We can definitely stretch it out if we need to. I'm actually really enjoying this now, being able to drive at a flat out pace for once in this race. Lap time still improving. We do have some engine wear, but it shouldn't affect us that badly. We still should be fine to get to the end of the season, hopefully, on our current components. Meanwhile, we've had a few cars pit, including Lewis Hamilton, where I didn't realise I actually boxed with the hard tyres, so we'll be in soon. Next lap is our scheduled pit stop lap, so let's just keep going. We're on for another fast lap of the race here. Looks like the remaining medium tyre runners are pitting. We've got Ricardo on a 2-stop as well, so he actually boxed quite early off those first set of mediums, and he's on for another set. We're going to box this lap. Okay, so everyone's done their stops. We're still improving here. 4/10 up on this lap, although I've had a bit of a scruffy turn 13. Either way, we're going to box now for the hard compound tyres. Everyone has done their stops, except for Ricardo, who's actually on a 2-stop strategy. So he boxed for another set of mediums and currently has the fastest lap, but he's got to stop again. We've got a nice healthy gap, so we're going to take it nice and easy and take no risks, box for the hard compound tyres, and hopefully go to the end. And fingers crossed, save a little bit of fuel in the process, because we're still under fueled, under target. Box, there we go. Nicely done. And what a stint, absolutely insane. The tyres really held on well. I could have gone for a few more. I maybe could have even stretched at the softs possibly, but of course, we all know the soft tyres overheat like crazy around here, so you're better off avoiding those if possible. But here we go, onto hard tyres.
Release.
2.8. The stops aren't great. They need to improve, to be honest. They let us down a lot of times. Obviously not today.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
Right, let's take it nice and easy on these. Try and get these up to temperature. Hard tyres tend to be a bit difficult to get into the right window. Let's see what the gap is to Lewis. And did we manage to extend, or did we lose some time? Looks like we've still got a pretty healthy gap to him. We've actually extended it, I think. We're 10, 9.7, 9.5. Yeah, we're actually slightly more ahead than what we were. So even by going longer, it was actually quicker than Lewis on the hard tyres. So there we go, job done. No more stops to make. So unless an absolute disaster happens, we're looking good to win this race and make it 2 race wins in a row after, of course, winning the last race in Monza. Well, we're picking up where we left off on the medium tyres now, on the hard compound tyres. Absolutely flying around it as we take back our fastest lap and the extra point, which is great news. I'm not too confident we'll keep it. I think there's a few cars on 2-stoppers who may ruin out a party with the fastest lap, but we'll try and go for it anyway. We might try and go for one more push in a few more laps time with some rich mix, hopefully. Here we go, another fastest lap. Can we dip into the 136s? Yes, we can. 36.9. There we go. Fuel's looking pretty good now as well. We're almost there in terms of fuel saving as we approach the final 10 laps of the race here today. Schumacher pits for the second time this race. I don't think he's going to score points today. A 2-stopper around Singapore is just not the way to go. I don't know what strategy he or the team have gone for, but that hasn't worked with him. Also, we're now on target for fuel, which is great. Been saving a little bit, and the gap is still going up to Lewis now. We're nearly 15 seconds. There we go, Ricardo pits as well in the Renault. I think he's the threat. I think he's the one that might take away our fastest lap. Oh, okay, there goes our fastest lap. Sebastian Vettel takes it away. We'll try and claim that back in a few laps' time. I'm going to wait till the car gets a bit lighter for fuel, and we'll save a bit of fuel in the tank to run it in rich mix and just push and see what we have left. Oh, Carlos Sainz out the race in the McLaren. They always seem to be so reliable in any career mode I do on this game. I am thinking about stopping for soft tyres, looking at the gap to Hamilton. If the gap keeps going up at this rate, we could potentially squeeze a set of soft tyres on later on in the race. Right, let's see how the traffic gets out of the way. We've got 2 Alphas, a Haas, and I think an Alpha Tauri. Or actually, it might be a Williams. Yeah, it's a Williams. Right, that one gets out of the way nicely, and we get DRS, which is great. This is going to be the issue now, getting past all 3 of these cars in front. Right, there we go, there's the first one. Out of the way, quite nicely. What about the rest of these guys? Let's find out. It's such an awkward one. Hopefully I can get them on the back straight. That would be nice. Losing a bit of time now. This isn't good. Oh, don't break there, please. Jeez. Okay, we'll get past the second Alpha. And then just the Williams remains. Why is he hanging in there for? Why is he hanging in there for? Just get away from me. Why? Oh, well, he's got wing damage now, so that's what you get for being an idiot. And then we're going to get past this Williams, and that'll be the end of the traffic. There we go. Thank God for that. Right, we can push on now. I want to try and run some soft tyres, so I want to try and push a little bit and see if I can get a gap to Hamilton. Here we go. This is going to be a new fastest lap, hopefully. It's going to be very close if it isn't. Okay, not quite, so we're going to have to find more pace. I'm not sure what the pit window is that I need to clear Hamilton, but I can't be far off, surely. We've got more lap traffic now. This time it's the other Williams. Let's see if he gets out of our way quite easily. We'll get DRS in the pit straight, so we're going to close the gap quite a lot. Hopefully it gets out of the way after turn 1. Or should I say turn 3 in this case, to be fair. Just pull over to the side, please. Thank you. There we go. Right then, that's most of the traffic cleared now, so we can forget about that. I've got to make a decision this lap, or whether we box or stay out. To be honest, I think we might have to just go to the finish. I don't think 22.6 is enough to get the gap to Hamilton. Here we go then, into the final sector now on the final lap of the race. And as you can tell, I actually decided against going for another set of soft tyres, and that's because I just didn't quite have the gap to Lewis. It peaked at around 23 seconds, so I'm not sure it would have been enough. The last 2 laps I've just been running around on Lee mix, trying to save the engine a little bit, and trying to avoid the revs, and just trying to save the gearbox a little bit. But still, we won the last race in Monza, and now we're going to win again here today. 2 race wins in a row. We win here for the 2nd year in succession, and here we go. It's been a dominant win. P1 in Singapore. Get in there.
They've endured the harsh conditions here in Singapore to pull off a spectacular victory. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
The faces on our top 3 look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
Right guys, so here we go, the results are in and we pick up a huge 25 points here today in Singapore. Lewis Hamilton finishes in 2nd place, Charles Leclerc rounds off the podium, Lando Norris P4, Daniel Ricciardo in 5th, overtaking Verstappen at the end, who finishes only P6 for Red Bull, Esteban Ocon P7, so Renault again having a pretty strong performance this weekend, Kvyat and Gasly both Alpha Tauris in the points, and Sebastian Vettel picking up the fastest lap in P10 for Ferrari. Bottas misses out on the points here today, along with Stroll, Perez, Schumacher, Albon, Magnussen, Russell, Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Latifi, Raikkonen, and then Sainz out of the race here today. The one-stopper was definitely the way to go, and Schumacher there on the 2-stop, you can see he just threw away such a good result here this weekend, as we now look at the standings after that race, and we are currently in 3rd place, and we're only 25 points behind Valtteri Bottas in 2nd. We are closing in on Valtteri. We now have the 2nd quickest car, so maybe we could challenge. Meanwhile, Leclerc overtakes Sebastian Vettel, so Leclerc 30 points behind us in the Drivers' Championship, and Mick drops out of the top 14 down to P15 after that race. And to be fair, this was genuinely a disappointing race from Mick Schumacher. I expected more, with the facility upgrades we did recently. I really thought it would have been quicker. The car was supreme this weekend, and his pace in Q1 was really, really good. But again, like last weekend, he kind of peaked at Q1 and didn't do any better after that. So a bit of a strange one. In terms of the constructors, we are in 3rd place, and we've got over 100 points advantage over Racing Point now. So we're looking very good to bring the season home in 3rd place in the constructors, which is awesome. But guys, that is it for the race here at Singapore. We're now going to move into the laptop.
You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled.
I hope so. We tried to do the best we could, and I'm thrilled with their support during the race.
How do you think this team will be feeling after that result?
I'm not too sure. I know McLaren, they want to get to the top. I think Lando had a pretty good race, so yeah, credit to them.
Great. Well, that's everything.
And there we go then. After the race, we've had pretty much a flawless weekend, outscoring Charles Leclerc in both sessions. And we now have a 4-point lead with 3 races remaining. So things are looking very positive on that front. Also, a bit of an XP boost in terms of the acclaim moving forward on all fronts as well. Unfortunately, Mick has been disappointing the last couple of races. I've got to be honest. Ever since we signed the new contract, he's let me down a little bit, but hopefully he can improve moving forward. You can see we've got our cash bonuses coming in as well, so a pretty good weekend and no damage deductions either. So we are going to get quite a nice cash boost, and moving forward, that's going to bring our total just shy of $8 million as we now head onto the laptop. Okay, it's time for a sponsorship renewal first of all, and it's with Sudo. And to be honest, they're one of our higher paying ones, so I'm quite happy to just renew that one straight off the bat. We've only got a 3-day turnaround until the Russian Grand Prix, so there's not much time to really do anything. So what we might do is a podium celebration party for the team. Normally I save the celebrations till the end, but I don't mind bolstering the, in general, just the vibes within the team and hoping that everyone feels good. We'll go for some driver promotion filming for the other day. And with that, we're now going to move into some R&D. We have 1,400 points to spend, so we can definitely use it to plan some upgrades in the future. And looking at the options, engine-wise, we are the 3rd best, so we're looking pretty strong there. Chassis, we're 4th best, and aerodynamics, we are 2nd best. So I think we've got to put some more work in on the chassis, so we're going to go for this lightweight wheel rims upgrade. It's a major one, and if this works, it could actually take us to the top of the pile in terms of the chassis department. So we're going to put that on the car. It makes no difference whether we rush it or it's standard, and it's only a 14% failure chance. So we're going to get that on, and hopefully it will arrive for the Japanese Grand Prix, which is after the Russian Grand Prix, which is the next race. So there we go, upgrades are on, and we are ready to push on, guys, and get ready for the next race weekend. And there we go then, guys, job done for this weekend. The next race is going to be at Sochi. But guys, if you enjoyed this episode, drop me a like and subscribe if you are new, guys, for daily F1 content on the channel. And also, guys, click the bell icon to be notified when new content does go live. And hopefully you guys can support me. We're very close now to 50k subs, so any support would be massively appreciated. And also on screen right now, guys, you've got 2 videos, so go check them out and see what you think. But that is it from me here today for the Singapore Grand Prix, and I'll see you all next time for the Russian Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.